Hi, Mr. Karthikeya Srinivas.
Hi Krishna Prasad.
Welcome to our podcast channel.
Yeah.
Today we have invited you. You know why? Because we want to know about what is GDP and we want to create the awareness to the current students who are studying in the different schools. Can you explain what is GDP?
So basically GDP is gross domestic product. It is the amount of money spent by the particular country in the entire year.
Okay, can you elaborate a little more on that?
So if there's a so for example, if there's a country called A with a population of 100 and their currency is dollars, if all of the 100 people in that country spend about $1 million per year,
Okay.
their GDP is 1 million.
Hmm.
That's called GDP.
Okay. Which country is having a higher GDP?
As of 2024, USA has the highest GDP with $30 trillion.
Okay, but why USA is having the highest GDP? Is there any
USA
particular reason for that?
Yeah, there is a particular reason. It is due to the currency value. So if you compare the USA currency to the Indian currency, there's a huge difference. And also there are many growing companies in USA, even phone companies and very big, big IT companies. Whereas in India, there's no such companies like that.
But even in India also we got some good companies, no?
But compared to USA, they're not that good.
Okay, what are the top companies in USA?
Apple, Samsung, and many more.
Minimum. Okay, so what are the top five countries in terms of the growth wise and even the higher GDP in the world?
The top one is USA with about $30 trillion GDP, and the second one is China with a $19 trillion GDP, and the third highest is Germany with 4.71 trillion GDP trillion dollars, and whereas fourth one is Japan, which is quite surprising, but it's $4.27 trillion, and in fifth place we have our country India at $4 trillion.
But why it is so? Why India is in the fifth rank? Almost many countries are ahead of India. Is there any particular reason for that?
Yeah, there's a reason since India doesn't have high growing companies and the value of the currency is lower. So and also India has more imports than exports, which is the main reason for low GDP.
Okay, is there any some ways to increase this GDP, especially in India, so that we can move ahead in the overall world?
Yeah, there are so many ways, but here are a few. We can we can try to improve the price of our currency, like the US dollars or pounds, and we can also try to make new IT companies, which are like very useful, and even stock market companies and even phone companies like Apple and Samsung. Due to that, other countries are getting higher GDP, and we can also do higher exports and take lower imports. So due to imports, the other countries' GDP will be lower and our GDP will become higher.
Okay, but I heard that GDP in India affected during the British rule. Is it
Yeah,
true?
yeah. During the British rule, it's between 1871 to 1947, and during that time, during that time India's GDP was about before that India's GDP was about more than 60% of the global economy. But after the British rule, India's GDP became 4% of the global's economy. It was a huge change, and it was a drastic downfall for India during that time.
But 60% on overall global GDP,
Yeah,
and now we're at 4%.
yeah.
Why that significant change in that?
It was because the Britishers ruled and looted the gold and other precious gems and everything from the India. They even ruled our cultures and even spices and those all. Due to
Okay.
that reason, we lost that much. We got a drastic change.
Now, what is our percentage in terms of overall India? Sorry, in country?
It's about 25 to 19.
25 to 19.
Yeah.
Still, USA is a top one.
Yeah.
Okay. See, this GDP growth increasing and decreasing will be any impact to the Indian citizens?
No, it doesn't give a high impact, but it's just as per the country. So if we increase the IT companies and those all, we might get a higher chance of jobs and opportunities. It's just like that.
Oh, only IT companies.
Even other companies like Apple, Samsung, if India creates an app like Google or something like that, Google Safari or something like that. Many people can go to the job and they'll get a higher job rate. The India will get higher GDP, and India will get more recognized like that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Karthikeya Srinivas. You're very well explained about the GDP. Now we are very clear on the GDP, how India is growing and how the India is moving in the overall competition. Thank you so much, Karthikeya Srinivas.
Welcome.